probably one of the most troubling things that no one's talking about is that the amount of microplastics in people's brains has increased by 50% over the last 8 years. That's pretty gnarly, okay? So there was a recent study that just came out now. So this is a preprint done in partnership with the University of New Mexico, okay? Now they looked at samples from 2016 and then in 2024. There have been many studies finding microplastics in the human brain, but the amount of microplastics in brains versus liver and kidneys was staggering. Massive, okay? They listed 10 to 30% times greater amount of microplastics in the brain versus the liver or kidneys. They directly link the microplastic concentration in the brain with exponentially rising environmental presence of microplastics and increasing global rates of age-corrected Alzheimer's disease and related dementia. The amount of microplastics that they found in other parts of the body, like the liver and the kidneys, that was pretty equivalent to the amount of microplastics they found in like human testicles, slightly more than placentas, okay? But the amount of microplastics specifically in the brain in 2024 reached almost 0.5% by weight, meaning the human brains that they studied in 2024 versus 2016 were almost 0.5% plastic. So if it's already increased by 50% in the last 8 years, what's that going to look like for your average person who's not trying to avoid plastic? What's that going to look like in another 8 years? What percentage of the brain will be plastic? And so microplastics have already been linked to neurobehavioral changes. They've seen that in a lot of different animal studies. It is linked in multiple studies to accelerated neurodegeneration. That means Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, as well as just neuroinflammation, right? Which are, again, all of these things are linked. The smaller microplastics are, the worse they are for you. And then those microplastics, the actual physical pieces, they carry in all of the chemicals from plastic. And as I've said in many videos, a lot of those plastics have affinity towards certain things, acidity, but also fat. Lipophilic, which is why they are hypothesizing there were such high amounts of microplastics in the brain. So the human brain has the second highest lipid content in the entire body. By and large, predominantly, our number one source is diet. And within diet, it is overwhelmingly bottled water. The main type of plastic that they found in all parts of the body was polyethylene. So that's high density and low density polyethylene, which is basically all of your plastic food, your food safe plastic. Right? There's always like some dude in the comments to one of these videos that's like, well, what's the dose that makes it bad? I'm like, dude, it's like, believe me, you are far exceeding your dose on a daily basis if you're not trying to reduce plastic in your life. Like, you're exceeding it. The focus should be on reducing, right? So just by not eating and drinking out of plastic and eating whole, unprocessed foods, right, which we already know is good for you and saves you money in the long run, yeah, that's also gonna like save your brain too. And don't drink bottled water. That's a form of polyethylene as well.